Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Hopefully, you guys had a great Thanksgiving. If you guys did and you want to share the highlights of your Thanksgiving holiday celebration, you can do so in the comments of this video. I wouldn't mind at all. Would love to hear how your guys' Thanksgiving went and what you guys did and how the food was and how the company was. So do that in the comments in this video, as well as smashing the like button because it does help out my channel. And before we get started, if you'd like to try Helium Mobile, you definitely can. You can get Helium Mobile for 20 bucks a month. It's unlimited talk, text, data, 28 gigs of high-speed data, and there will be a future video discussing that to you guys. But nonetheless, you get your first month for free on me just using my promo code. Anyways, in today's topic for this video discussion, really talking about Apple and has Apple really kind of dropped the ball on implementations to iOS? This is something that I really want to talk about with a lot of people and get everybody else's feedback on it because I don't know, it just seems so weird where Apple is in the state of what it does. And I was around during the Android and iOS wars, participated in that with debate discussions with people, on all sides. And that was one of the things that they would always talk about. If you guys remember, they would always talk about it. They would always be like, oh, Android implements things just to implement it, while Apple takes its time to perfect it and then implement it. And, it was just always this back and forth debate between both sides. And now, with RCS messaging for iOS and Apple Intelligence, the two things that the world is looking at closely. And it's just so strange to see Apple in this predicament. I see lots of posts like what you're seeing right now on the social media threads. Said user who decides to say that, that they're disappointed in Apple Intelligence. They feel like that, the implementation of Apple's AI isn't all chalked up to what has been touted, right? You look at a lot of different companies that's pushing the iPhone 16, and Apple Intelligence is one of the things that they pretty much talk about in the advertisement for the iPhone 16. And you're getting Apple Intelligence on the iPhone 16 and the iPhone 15. But Apple Intelligence is not fully rolled. And that's the problem, and that's where I feel like, what is Apple really doing? You know? So the person pretty much talks about this. This is an old post from back in October. You got some responses from people. You got people just basically pointing out, that Apple Intelligence hasn't dropped yet, and what you're using is an updated user interface of Siri. Just again trying to feed information out there so people can understand. Another user pretty much just like talks about it, says that for reasons that make sense to Apple, they have decided to roll out the new look before they add AI improvements to Siri. I suspect when 18.1 gets released. So as you guys can see, these posts are from the beginning of October, right? Which, really hasn't really happened all too much. But we're steadily getting these updates for Apple Intelligence. Now, I know that my device will not get the new Apple Intelligence at all. So I'm not too concerned about it, but other people have been talking about it. So here are the rumored release of how Apple Intelligence will be implemented. iOS 18.1 that dropped on October 28th. It's a cleanup, notification, app summary, suggested replies, proofreading, rewriting, tools, phone call recording, transcripts, new focus mode, create memories, movies, and based on descriptions, right? So that's some of the early adoptions of Apple Intelligence. And then in iOS 18.2, which is already out. They suspected December, but it came a little bit earlier. So we're supposed to have like Genmoji, Image Playground, Visual Intelligence, Chat GPT integrations. And then iOS 18.3, so that's before the end of the year. So we'll probably see that here in early December. But it's just minor updates. And then 18.4, which is March 2025, overhauled Siri Assistant with better contextual and personalized responses. So people have to wait until around March 2025, or maybe a little bit earlier, maybe February, maybe January they roll this out. But still, you're touting it for your iPhone 16. You're touting it for your iPhone 16, and it's not fully rolled out yet. And, people are already starting to talk, which is the thing. When it comes to AI, you want to be first to the finish. I mean, you want to have the product work and function, and, be capable of what you say it's able to do. Of course, you want that, but you want to be able to do that and have it rolled out. This is just a very unexpected way of Apple rolling out something that they're implementing in. And the same can be said with RCS messaging. With RCS messaging, yes, Apple has tied in RCS to iOS, okay? But it's also at the discretion of the carriers. And certain carriers already have RCS on, but there are other carriers that have not yet implemented it. And it's crazy to me because Apple used to be one of those bulldogs that would like push for carriers to do certain things in order for the iPhone to function. But in this case, this is a lot of fragmentation because you have visible customers, Mobile X customers, Metro by T-Mobile customers, and then you have Verizon and I believe AT&T does and T-Mobile have RCS turned on for iPhones. But then there's other companies like Boost Mobile doesn't have RCS turned on for iPhones. Helium Mobile doesn't have it turned on yet. So there's a lot of other ones that don't have it turned on yet. And this is just new territory with a new look for iPhone and iOS. And it's just like, why? Why is Apple laxing on getting these implementations at a reasonable time and at a very consistent base? Because that is the one thing. You can ask any other tech reviewer, they're going to tell you something. Consistency is key. These companies have to be consistent with what they're doing. The moment they start changing the way that they do things on a level where they start to just kind of get lazy with it is where things start to fall apart. And I think that's what's happening of why Apple is catching such a bad rap is that their consistency and dedication to perfecting things is not seen with the implementation of Apple Intelligence as well as the adoption of RCS messaging. I honestly feel like that Steve Jobs would have blown a lot of head gaskets and steamed and piled on a lot of people's, that's working for Apple. Just a lot of them would have been ripped a new a-hole, if I'm being honest. But that's just my thoughts. What are your guys' thoughts, comments, concerns, questions, emotional outbursts? You guys know where to drop them in the comment section of the video. Again, hopefully you guys had a great Thanksgiving and made it back home safe from travels, or, you'll be traveling this weekend heading home. But nonetheless, again, late happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Thanks for checking out today's video, and we'll talk to you on the next one. Law.